Chapter 1. How to Get Through the Initial Shock. Hearing the news. When a loved one dies, it takes time for you to believe the news. When you hear the news, it should be from a loved one or from someone close to you. You can never be prepared for such news even if your loved one had a terminal illness. Here are just a few things you can do when you hear the news. Get some details. Ask the person who is sharing the news with you some of the details of your loved one's death if you were not present, such as time of death, place of death, who was present, cause of death if necessary, if the person said anything, if they went peacefully. Take some time alone. This is the time when you want to be by yourself, and that is quite understandable. You will want at least be sure to acknowledge that your loved one has passed on. Make sure this sinks in your mind. Finding a place to be by yourself for a short period of time will help you to regroup and get ready to face it head-on. Crying. Everyone may not cry initially, but it is an important part of the initial grieving process, because this is the way that you acknowledge your acceptance of what just took place. The tears will well up from time to time after that, but getting a lot of it out of your system is essential for you to move forward. Regrets. You will have a lot of regrets, such as wishing that you were on the scene during the last hours, wishing you had told your loved one how much you care and love them, wishing that you had the power to change what just happened. The reaction. For most people, the initial reaction is shock. You hear what others are telling you, and you may have been there when your loved one passed, but yet the shock that it really happened has gotten the better of you. Here are a few types of reactions and how to handle them. Anger. You can be angry because it is quite normal for you to be, but determine what you are angry about and how you channel that anger in a more positive way to help other family members to cope. Denial. Believing that it happened may take a longer time, but your continued denial will not help you in the grieving process. Opening up. Shock will make you want to become introverted and not want to talk to anyone. This is understandable, but could be to your disadvantage. The pent-up feelings that you internalize will only fester and become worse. Helpful. Keeping busy is another way that some handle it. However, be sure that this type of behavior is not just an act of denial, so make sure that it is a way for you to help other family members to cope who may be having a hard time. The memory. Some people will have different flashbacks of experiences with their loved one, and that may be what they use to keep them from breaking down. Fond memories of the loved one will help them to relax more. It could, however, make them very sad, which again is inevitable anyway. Your own mortality. There are some who will take a closer look at their own mortality and probably develop a fear of death. It might make the grieving process a little harder for this person, or it might be a wake-up call of how they will live their lives moving forward. Find the closest person. Find the closest person to you that you can talk to and grieve with. The love that you both share for your loved one will provide support for each of you. The day of the funeral. On the day of the funeral, you must be prepared for what may happen, such as a lot of crying from others, sadness, accepting the obvious, love from well-wishers, breaking down uncontrollably, casket arriving late, long church service, a final look at your loved one. Saying goodbye may not be easy. You will be approached by well-wishers, curiosity seekers, and onlookers expressing their condolences. You may not feel like talking to anyone, but just a nod of appreciation is enough. Accepting the truth. The finality of the funeral will help you to accept the truth that your loved one is gone. Here are some other ways to embrace the truth. Visit the site if possible. If your loved one died at home, go to the home, lay in the bed that belonged to your loved one. If you lost a child, find a favorite toy or clothing that your son or daughter loved and hold on to it. If your loved one died in a hospital, go back and talk to the nurse or nurses that took care of your loved one. Photo album. A photo album holds a lot of memories. Get a hold of the photo album that belonged to your loved one and go through it with another loved one. The memories will help you to go back and help you also to admit that the person won't be around to make new memories. Talk to family members. Talking to other family members, co-workers, and friends will help everything make sense to you. They will be able to remind you that this did happen and that they will be there for you when you need them to. Your family and friends will be your sounding board, but they will also be the ones to help you to face the reality of your loved one's death. They will help to prevent your mind from wandering to the what-ifs so that you don't punish yourself with guilt. Mend fences. When you are able to go to other family members or friends that you have had a grievance with, you are then able to mend fences with them. A lot of people will not want to accept the truth because they have not mended fences with that loved one who died. Mending fences with a close family or friend will help them to come to terms with what just happened. Closure. If you were able to make amends with a loved one before his or her death, the closure will give you some relief that you made peace, and that will help you to embrace the truth that your loved one has passed on. The change. Your loved one's passing will create changes to your daily routine. If the person lived in your home, you won't see them anymore, and so it will be much easier to accept the truth. However, if the person does not live in the home, not being able to make that phone call will be full proof that you cannot speak to the person anymore.